Have you ever loved someone so deeply that when they betrayed you, it felt like the entire world crumbled beneath your feet? Imagine building a life with the person you thought was your forever, only to discover one ordinary Tuesday afternoon that everything was a lie. This is the story of Emily Harper, an ordinary woman from a small town in Ohio, USA, who became extraordinary the day her heart was ripped apart. She was emotional, trusting, and kind, the kind of woman who cried at weddings and believed in second chances. But when the man she loved more than life itself destroyed her, something inside her changed. This isn't just a heartbreak story. This is the story of how a broken woman planned the coldest, most calculated revenge, and got away with it completely. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever wondered what true justice feels like, stay with me until the very end, because what Emily did will leave you speechless. Let's begin. Emily Harper was 28 when she met Ryan Caldwell. She was working as a graphic designer in Cleveland, living in a cozy apartment filled with plants and fairy lights. Emily was the definition of emotional. She felt everything deeply. She cried during commercials, laughed until her stomach hurt, and loved with every fiber of her being. Ryan walked into her life at a friend's barbecue, tall, charming, with that easy smile that made people trust him instantly. He was a financial advisor, always dressed sharp, always knowing the right thing to say. From their first date, Emily was hooked. He took her to little Italian restaurants, remembered how she liked her coffee oat milk to sugars, and sent her good morning texts that made her smile before she even opened her eyes. Within a year, they were living together. Within two, Ryan proposed on a snowy Christmas Eve, down on one knee in front of her entire family. Emily cried so hard she could barely say yes. They got married in a beautiful autumn wedding, orange leaves, string lights, 150 guests. Emily wore the dress of her dreams. Ryan looked at her like she was the only woman in the world. For 4 years, life was perfect. They bought a house in the suburbs, white picket fence, two-car garage, a golden retriever named Max. Emily worked from home, designing logos for small businesses. Ryan climbed the ladder at his firm, bringing home bigger bonuses every year. They talked about kids. Emily already had names picked out: Lily for a girl, Noah for a boy. She thought she had everything, but there were tiny cracks. One she ignored because she loved him too much to question. Ryan started working late. He became protective of his phone, always face down, always taking it to the bathroom. He'd get irritated when she asked simple questions like, "How was your day?" Emily told herself it was stress. The market was volatile. He was under pressure. She made excuses for him because that's what you do when you love someone. She wanted to believe in the fairy tale. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a Tuesday in April. Emily was home alone, working on a client project, when Ryan's iPad pinged on the kitchen counter. He'd forgotten it that morning, first time ever. The notification was from Messenger, a name she didn't recognize. Sophia. The preview said, "Last night was incredible. When can I see you again?" Emily's heart stopped. Her hands shook as she picked up the iPad. The passcode? Their wedding date. Of course he still used that. She opened the messages, hundreds of them. Photos, videos, love declarations. Sophia was 24, blonde, worked as a receptionist at Ryan's firm. They'd been together for 14 months. 14 months. While Emily was planning their future, picking out baby furniture just to look, cooking his favorite meals, Ryan was sleeping with someone else. There were messages from the night of their anniversary dinner, the one where Ryan had surprised her with a necklace. While Emily was thanking him with tears in her eyes, he was texting Sophia, "Can't wait to get home to you tomorrow." Emily read until she couldn't breathe. She sat on the kitchen floor, clutching the iPad, sobbing so hard she thought she'd throw up. When Ryan came home that evening, smiling like nothing was wrong, Emily confronted him. At first, he denied it. Then he gaslit her, "You're overreacting. It was just flirting." When she showed him the proof, he finally broke. He cried. He begged. He said it was a mistake, that Sophia meant nothing, that he loved only Emily. He promised to end it, to go to counseling, to do anything. And because Emily was emotional, because she still loved him, she forgave him. She wanted to save their marriage. She believed people could change. For 6 months, things seemed better. Ryan was attentive again. He came home early. He deleted Sophia's contact in front of Emily. They went to therapy. Emily thought they were healing, but deep down, something had died inside her. She wasn't the same trusting woman anymore. She started noticing things. Small lies. Secret phone calls he'd take in the garage. A new lock on his phone. One night, she waited until he was asleep and used his fingerprint to unlock it. Sophia was back. They'd never stopped. In fact, it was worse now. Ryan had been paying for Sophia's apartment, buying her gifts, telling her he was leaving Emily soon. There was even a folder of photos, intimate ones dated just 2 weeks ago. Emily didn't cry this time. She sat in the dark, staring at the screen, and felt something cold growing inside her chest. The trusting Emily was gone. In her place was someone new, someone who was done being the fool. Emily didn't file for divorce right away. She didn't scream or throw his things out. Instead, she smiled. She played the perfect wife, made his favorite dinners, planned a surprise weekend getaway. Ryan thought he'd gotten away with it again, but Emily was watching, learning, planning. First, she protected herself financially. She quietly opened a separate bank account, started moving small amounts of money, her freelance earnings, into it. She photographed every bank statement, every joint account transaction. Then she went to see a lawyer, the best divorce attorney in Cleveland. Not to file yet, but to learn exactly what she was entitled to. Ohio is an equitable distribution state. Their house, mostly paid with Emily's inheritance from her grandmother. The cars, one in her name. Ryan's $401,000, built during the marriage, half would be hers. But the real goldmine was Ryan's bonus structure. His firm paid massive year-end bonuses, sometimes 6 figures. If she divorced him now, she'd get half of what was already there. But if she waited until after the next bonus, she'd get half of a much bigger number. So she waited. She also started gathering evidence, not just of the affair but of financial infidelity. Ryan had been using their joint credit card to pay for hotels, dinners, gifts for Sophia. Thousands of dollars. Emily screenshot everything. Recorded conversations when he thought she was asleep. She even installed a hidden voice recorder in his car, legal in Ohio for one-party consent. She learned he wasn't just cheating with Sophia. There had been others. Over the years, Emily had been married to a serial cheater and never knew. But the worst discovery came in November. Ryan was planning to leave her. He'd been secretly meeting with a real estate agent to value their house. He'd opened a new account in only his name. He was preparing to blindside her, take the money, and run with Sophia. That's when Emily decided forgiveness was over. Now it was time for revenge. She didn't want to just leave with her fair share. She wanted him to lose everything, and she wanted it to hurt. Emily started phase 1, making Ryan believe their marriage was stronger than ever. She suggested they renew their vows for their 7th anniversary. Ryan, arrogant as ever, agreed, thinking Emily was clueless. She booked a beautiful venue, invited all their friends and family, spent thousands on their joint account, of course. Then came phase 2, the financial trap. Emily knew Ryan's firm was announcing record profits. The bonus pool was going to be massive. Ryan had been bragging about it for weeks. She waited until the bonus hit his account January 15th. Then, on January 16th, she filed for divorce. But not before one final masterstroke. She'd learned from the lawyer that adultery doesn't affect asset division in Ohio, but financial misconduct does. All those hotel charges? Gifts bought with marital funds? That was dissipation of marital assets. The judge could award her a larger share to compensate. But Emily went further. She anonymously tipped off Ryan's firm's HR department, sent them screenshots of Ryan using company time and resources for his affairs, company credit card charges for personal trips with Sophia. HR took it seriously, especially when the anonymous email included proof that Ryan had been falsifying expense reports, claiming client dinners that were actually dates. An internal investigation began. Ryan had no idea it was coming. January 16th. Ryan came home from work, excited about his bonus. Emily was waiting in the living room with a glass of wine. She handed him divorce papers. His face went white. He begged again, threatened, cried. But this time, Emily didn't flinch. She looked him in the eyes and said, "I know everything, Ryan, and I'm done." He moved out that week, thought he could still salvage his life with Sophia. But then the second blow came. His firm called him in. The investigation had uncovered years of improper expenses. He was fired. No severance. His reputation destroyed. References gone. In the financial world, trust is everything. No one would hire him after this. Sophia, she dumped him the moment he lost his job. Turns out she liked the lifestyle more than the man. The vow renewal? Emily canceled it the day after filing, but not before sending a mass email to all 150 guests. Subject: important update about Ryan and Emily. In it, she calmly explained that the Renewal was cancelled due to Ryan's repeated infidelity and financial misconduct. She attached a few carefully chosen screenshots, nothing explicit, just enough to prove her point. Their entire social circle turned against him. His parents were devastated. His sister stopped speaking to him. Friends blocked him. Ryan tried to fight the divorce, hired a lawyer, but Emily had everything documented. Every lie, every dollar spent on affairs, every secret account. The judge was not impressed with Ryan. Emily got the house, both cars, 70% of the retirement accounts, a large portion of the bonus, and the judge ordered Ryan to pay her legal fees. Ryan was left with debt, no job, no home, and no friends. He moved back in with his parents at 36 years old, started working as a used car salesman, a far cry from the high-flying life he once had. Emily? She sold the house, moved to a beautiful loft downtown, adopted another dog to keep Max company, started traveling places she'd always wanted to go but Ryan never had time for. Italy, Greece, Japan. She launched her own design agency, hired a team, became more successful than she'd ever been. And the best part? She healed. Not overnight. There were nights she still cried, but she learned to love herself more than she'd ever loved him. She became strong, confident, unbreakable. Years later, she ran into Ryan at a grocery store. He looked tired, older. He tried to say hello. Emily smiled politely and walked away. That was her final revenge. Not screaming, not fighting, just living better, proving that the woman he threw away became everything he could never have again. And that is the story of Emily Harper, a woman who loved too much and was betrayed too deeply. But instead of staying broken, she chose herself. She chose justice. She chose peace. If you're watching this and you've been hurt, know this. Your heart may feel shattered right now, but one day you look back and thank the pain for making you stronger, for teaching you your worth, for leading you to a life better than the one you lost. Emily's story isn't about hating men. It's about refusing to be diminished, about rising from ashes more beautiful than before. If this story touched you, if it made you feel seen, if it gave you even a spark of hope, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, let me know you were here till the end. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it right now. Because stories like this, they heal people. And if you want more real, emotional, powerful stories that remind you of your strength, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I release new stories every week, stories of betrayal, redemption, revenge, and triumph. You don't want to miss the next one. Thank you for spending this hour with me. Thank you for trusting me with your time. And remember, no matter how dark it gets, your comeback will always be greater than your setback. I'll see you in the next story. Take a deep breath. Soft smile. Goodbye for now.